In today's program, backlash against the government in the form of violent protests and a civil court ruling. Meanwhile, the outlook for Thailand's tourism industry continues to worsen as daily cases force the government to postpone their international reopening plans. More on these stories coming right up. You're watching Thailand News Today, your daily one-stop shop for the news. Today we'd like to express our gratitude to Tony Bun Clark for supporting the channel and becoming a Thaiger legend. Now, if you'd like to support the channel and gain access to memberships perks, hit that join button on our channel's front page. And now on to the news. Pro-democracy activists clashed again with police in Bangkok last evening, they say in response to the riot police's use of tear gas, rubber bullets, and water cannons. The clashes took place around the Dindang intersection in the capital following a rally organized by protest group the United Front for Thammasat and Demonstration. At around 5:30 p.m., requests for protesters to go home were ignored by some, who proceeded to launch various missiles at advancing police officers. The confrontation escalated into a series of street battles, resulting in a police kiosk being set on fire before officers were able to extinguish the blaze. The Royal Thai Police report there were two groups of activists, and while one group was only interested in protesting against the government, the other group seemed intent on provoking the attending police. Additional officers were called upon to try and prevent things from escalating. At least 6 police officers were injured, with some allegedly harmed by shots and explosives. It's also reported that protesters set fire to another police kiosk near the Democracy Monument at around 7:30 p.m., with things winding down around 9:15 p.m. and the second group of protesters heading home. After widespread criticism from Thai media and human rights organizations, Thai Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has backed down and repealed his order banning the posting of information that could cause fear, regardless of whether it was true. Last night, the Royal Gazette published the repeal of the original order. The Prime Minister's original order drew immediate condemnation as it prevented media from reporting many facts and stifled free speech. For example, under that order, if a huge fire was spreading across Bangkok, it would technically be illegal to report on it, since the information could scare residents whose lives could be at risk. The civil court suspended the order on August 6, saying the decree was unconstitutional and was an overreach of power on the Prime Minister's part. The court said as the order isn't just banning the misinformation the order claimed to be targeting, so the broadness of the wording created an impingement of people's constitutional freedoms. The vague wording included any distortion of information, but also any information that causes fear, and also cites as justification that the information could affect national security and peace and order. Hopes are fading for a tourism revival in the third quarter of this year after the U.S. government cautioned its citizens against unnecessary travel to Thailand. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has added Thailand to its level 4 countries, the highest level warning. Along with Thailand's badly timed third wave that continues to resist most attempts at restricting its spread, the tourism situation is heavily affected by travel restrictions and the complexity of the paperwork necessary to enter Thailand as part of the Sandbox-style programs. Operators are now pinning their expectations on the last quarter of the year and the looming traditional high season. In the first month of Phuket Sandbox, apart from returning Thais, U.S. travelers were the largest contingent for visiting foreigners to join in on the Sandbox scheme. Some quick COVID facts for today: 21,038 new infections today and 207 deaths. 22,012 patients have been released from care. 5,407 remain in a serious condition and 1,094 people are on ventilators. The Delta variant is now the dominant strain of COVID-19 in 76 out of Thailand's 77 provinces. Meanwhile, the Tourism Authority of Thailand has announced that the Pattaya Move On reopening plan, which was scheduled to launch on September the 1st, has been postponed indefinitely. With COVID-19 numbers remaining high in the Chonburi province, the TAT has conceded that it won't be possible to reopen to international travelers safely in just 20 days. Hua Hin and other tourist areas received the same bad news from the TAT. Chonburi province is now a maximum control red zone, while almost everything is closed, including beaches, parks, shopping, and dining options. So reopening to international travelers seems counterintuitive, if not impossible at this time. Over 1,000 COVID-19 cases per day are being reported in the province, though many are being uncovered in factories and industrial work camps. Last night, an unnamed foreign driver died after his sedan hit what officials believe was a trailer truck in Chonburi. When police arrived, the other vehicle had fled the scene. Police and emergency responders were alerted to the incident at 10:30 p.m. on Motorway 7 in Nong Pru. When emergency responders arrived, they discovered a heavily damaged sedan and the body of a 39-year-old male Caucasian driver inside the vehicle. The man's name has been withheld at this stage. There were no reported witnesses to the incident, so police are examining CCTV footage to locate the other driver. A disinformation campaign targeting COVID-19 vaccines and orchestrated by a Russian marketing firm has been shut down by Facebook. The campaign, started by Russian firm Faz, targeted influencers, persuading them to spread hoaxes about COVID-19 vaccines. Facebook has described the campaign as a disinformation laundromat, but the influencers it tried to mislead turned out to be the smear campaign's undoing. The assumption was the influencers would not do any of their own homework, but two did. The US-based social media platform says 65 Facebook accounts and 243 Instagram accounts linked to the disinformation campaign have been removed and Faz has been banned. Faz is a subsidiary of the British registered advertising firm AdNow. According to Facebook, one of the hoaxes spread by the campaign was that the AstraZeneca vaccine turns people into chimpanzees. But social media influencers in France and Germany became suspicious about their claims made in the emails that they'd received from Faz and contacted journalists. So far, the Thaiger can confirm that our staff have not turned into chimpanzees. And that is all for today's program. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and keep that notification bell on to stay on top of the latest stories in Thailand. We also have a live morning show called Good Morning Thailand that airs every Monday to Friday, so be sure to check that out as well. Meanwhile, you're up to date on the Thaiger.